Good afternoon. Welcome to 13th session of Life After Lockdown. And today at this auspicious day of Guru Purnima, I was really very humbly feeling what Professor Vivek Hatangandi has written it here. I don't think I deserve that much of what he has written. But my salutation to Professor Vivek, to you and all the attendees, all the participants who have been participating in this platform in particular, sometimes as a panelist, sometimes as a participant, but everybody has been contributing in this platform. And the Guru itself got changed now. We have a digital Guru, we have a Google Guru. I think the most knowledgeable is the Google Guru. And I really bow down to Google Guru for any help I require a Guru. But nobody can replace the Guru, which traditionally we mean in our culture. We have a very diverse, expert panel here. Many of the people in panel known to you. And I'm sure Professor Dipti may not be known to many of you here because he comes from the different industry. So quickly, Ashish Nigam, as you know, he is heading Dr. Reddy's for urology business, anti-diabetes and cardiology business for India, and entire therapy area for Nepal in Dr. Reddy's. So welcome Ashish for this Life After Lockdown session.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
We have a medicine man, Anup Soans. Anup is known as a medicine man because long back in August 2011, he started this blog and website, MedicinMan. He started his career as a medical representative, but later on shifted to medical education and grown up to level of chief operating officer. And then calling came from within, and he authored 2 books for the pharmaceutical sales and marketing professionals. And you know that after that, he has been helping all of us to convene together, to debate, discuss, and finding out more opportunity, more solution, more growth for pharmaceutical industry. Welcome, medicine man Anup Soans to Life After Lockdown.
Thank you, Pranav.
And finally, we have Professor Dipti Pant. Dipti and me is connected in LinkedIn. Beyond that, we were not knowing anything, but we talked a lot over the telephone and the video call. And now I know a lot about her. She is, as I said, different industry, but it doesn't mean that she's alien to pharmaceutical industry. She has consulted many pharmaceutical industry, Indian as well as MNC in India. She's also consulting to technology and all other industries on innovation strategy. She's expert in user experience. User experience is something I personally have experience, and I saw a lot of potential to be used by pharma marketers. And another aspect which made me to request Professor Dipti to this channel is storytelling. All of us are are captivated with the storytelling. In the childhood, among my cousins, I used to be favorite only because I was able to tell them the stories every evening. And because of that, they were willingly doing my personal job, bringing something or other thing. That's the power of the story. I think we have a lot to learn from Professor Dipti on storytelling, how we can use on new product launch, as well as communicating on the product which we have been doing anyway, how storytelling can be helpful for improving the effectiveness. With this quickly, they will tell about themselves when they will speak to all of us. Meantime, I see almost 50 people joined already, so it's time to start the conversation here. As always, we start with the participants. So let me put the questions to the participant to know about what is the situation, what is happening on the new product launch. My question is here to participant: is your company or company you are consulting for launching a new brand in Corona time? You can respond this poll by giving the options here. If your answer is beyond the options, you can always put that in chat box, message in chat box. I see the people are responding, and I'm seeing that very diverse response is coming, very divided opinion here. That's the beauty. Okay, good. So all of you who are new to this platform, you can see below our video there are options to respond. Just below that, if you are logged in using mobile, below that, if you have logged in laptop, right side of our video, there are options to respond this poll. Okay, so another 10-second time to allow people to respond. Is your company or company you are consulting for launching a new brand in Corona time? Yesterday we were debating, me and Anup was on that, whether Indian companies are also launching or multinational are holding back, whatever. So I think this is the real taste, real information from the real people who are involved in product launch. And let me publish the result now of the poll. I'm ending the poll now, and you will be able to see the response now. 34%, more than 1/3 of the healthcare professionals, pharmaceutical and life science professionals says that no, deferred the plan to launch a new product. 22% says that yes, deferred for some times earlier, but now scheduled to launch. 1/4 of the total participants says that yes, already launched. Oh, surprisingly good. Yes, already launched using digital as well as the conventional way wherever operation was normal. And the most interesting is that yes, it was digital exclusive launch to doctors and trade partners. So I think we have a lot to learn from our participants also, how they have launched the digital only platform, a new product in this Corona time. With this, let me go back to my panelists, and then we'll come back to our participants. So starting with Ashish Nigam here. Ashish, you have also launched the product. You are planning to launch a product in this Corona time. Can you share your perspective on what has changed in this time versus the conventional time, and what makes you too confident to launch a product at this Corona time?
So thank you, Pranav. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I think I can answer it in two ways. One is the one who is planning to launch and what he should do. Second thing is, if you have no other option but you have to launch, do you need to repurpose your launch plan? Surely you need to repurpose your launch plan. Now, if you are planning to launch and you are still deciding, then you have to think about 2-3 things. One is what is the space? What is the therapy in which you are planning to launch? There are therapies where there is a patient flow, even if it is 30%, 40%, there's a patient flow. But there are therapies which is, therapies which are immunocompromised therapies, oncology, surgical specialties, acute pediatric specialty. Which specialty is, there's a, and you need to understand that are you entering into the therapy wherein at least there is, even if it is suboptimal, there's a patient flow or not. For you to have, for you to have a patient to whom doctor can write. So that's a therapy. Second is, many of the time it happens that we don't come out with new brands. We try to launch a line extension. Now, if you're trying to, the Corona times, I'm sure all the people who are in the call would have seen, there's a disproportionate buying brands, both from a doctor recall point of view, availability point of view, as well as sales point of view. The brands which are top 10. So initially I was thinking top 5, but even top 10 I have seen are doing fairly well versus the brands which are at 50th or 100th rank. So if your brand is in the top 10, rank, and if you're planning a line extension, makes sense. But if you're planning to launch a combination of a molecule where you are not the lead, your base brand is not the top 10 brand, the job becomes that difficult. And third thing is the process. Now, most important becomes, because many times uh, you don't take the decision of launching the brand. There is a team, and there are a lot of people who decides on your behalf. And as a marketeer, you have no other choice but to launch it. And now, even if you have to launch, then comes the most important, which is the process. And if I talk about the process, then definitely normal days, everybody goes by the set methodology of having a brand plan, starting from L-6, going up to L+6, those kind of things, targeting, segmentations, all those, regular stuff, all of us know. But in special times like this, which is a corona time, I will say that, are you following the three fundamentals, which is, what is your physical plan? Physical, definitely all of us well versed, all of us know there's no substitute to PSR, doctor relationship, PSR going and detailing the brand, a new launch, making the product available, marketing, doing the pre-teasers and all those, regular stuff is known. But then what is the digital element you're trying to push? Because 3 people responded in the poll that they already went ahead and did the plan. Now, to me, many times digital is slightly confusing word. I know that Professor Dipti is there, or Mr. Anup is there, who are expert in these areas. Still, since I'm talking from a user's experience, what I have done and what I'm trying to do is to divide the digital into 3 portions. The first portion is the physical element, which is the physical and digital aspects. Within digital, there are mediums. So when you're talking about awareness, are you effectively using the doctor platforms which are already available instead of sending teasers just like that? You have platforms like HiDoc, Curofile, LiveBread, medical dialogues. There are platforms which is available through which you can create awareness. And there is a media which is now available. I'm talking about social media. And when I talk about social media, there is now people have been experimenting with closed media and open media. So it's a doctor to doctor and a doctor to patient. Are you channelizing both these social media? And the third is the effective use of e-commerce platforms, because availability becomes the most important critical element for the success of a brand. We does a lot of things, but most of the time the brand new launch fails because of non-availability. Even if you made all the efforts and doctor wants to write. Now, biggest challenge for a pharmaceutical guy right now is to make the new brand, which is unknown. So a pharmacist is not willing to keep your unknown brand. Physically, many times you are not going to go and have an influence on the pharmacist. And thereby the role of this e-pharmacy chains, retail pharmacy chains. So centrally, if you can have a tie-up with them, and before launch, if you can make these brands available at e-commerce platforms or retail chains, the chances of you leveraging these platforms and making your brand available becomes high. And at the same time, when the doctor prescribes, making the product successful, new launch successful, also becomes a high. So I think these are some of the elements which I feel, and subsequently as we move forward with the specific questions, I'll be able to give more opinions about it. But right now, I feel a good combination: physical, digital, social media platforms, effective users, and e-commerce platform, effective users. If end-to-end you have not planned these 3 elements, 3 dimensions well, you cannot make a brand successful in these COVID times. Thank you.
So thank you, Ashish. So what gives me a pleasure and satisfaction about conducting this platform is that this platform, we discuss the real issue with the real people. I see Amar Kamath here. Amar Kamath is a marketing manager, and he writes that classic case: I have been asked to launch by next 2 months a high cost product in neuro specialty. It is not a GP product, where till date we do not have any equity as far as company is concerned. I think this is a profound, I would say, profound opportunity, Amar, to really go and put all your might, all the possibilities with digital medium, with the conventional insight which we have, to deploy and launch it and put tomorrow, maybe 6 months later, we should be talking about that case in this platform. I look forward, Amar, on that. Any help is required from any of the panelists. I think everybody will be willing to extend help to you. Not only this panel, the previous panel also. We'll come to here, Anup, to you. How you see the perspective, how the perspective of the industry changed, and as a consultant, as a person connecting different possibilities for the industry, what do you see the possibilities further?
Yeah, first of all, thanks to Ashish for giving that encouraging insight as to what he is doing at Dr. Reddy's, which is a very reputable and well organized pharmaceutical company. So one of the things that anybody will ask you when we talk anything new is that, has anybody else done it? And that's very difficult to answer. And so it's good that Ashish has not only said that they have launched, but gone into the intricacies of how exactly they are doing. So my perspective would be to go to the essentials of marketing. Is to why do you launch a product? That's the first question. Is that, does the customer want the product, or your company wants to market a product? There are two entirely different ways of approaching the market. So it's essential to answer the question as to how well do you know the customer, and how well do you know his needs, and how well do you know his current situation? Because there was a very nice report that was published by Cognit RX, that I can share at some point of time, which showed that practically every specialty was seeing a decline anywhere from 50 to 80% in their practice. So you need to be aware of the challenges that your customer is facing. And also the other insight that came from the market research is that when doctors were asked as to what they would like from pharma, product related information really went to the real backside. That's not their priority now, to listen to product related information, unless you have some product like remdesivir, or one of those drugs that are being recommended to be used as a part of COVID-19 treatment. So I'm also want to touch points to the webinar series that which we are running along with Credo Web, where Salil Kalyanpur made some very beautiful observations about the mapping the customer's journey. So the take is that you must not be finding customers for your product, but rather you must be finding products for your customers. Now that's a very, very challenging proposition, but I think in today's time, if you look at it, that's exactly what you need to do. In the early and late 80s, I was in the oncology division of then very few companies were there in oncology, and we were marketing the products of Asta Medica, cyclophosphamide, which is Endoxasta is a brand name, and that's the textbook name as well. But what really the company realized afterwards was to have complete range of anti-cancer drugs, because in oncology you never use a single product. And if you are just going to market one product and talk one product, it's not really helpful to the oncologists. So, we launched an entire range of product, and we had to talk even about our competitors' product, which was to be used in the regimen. So essentially what I'm trying to bring forth is that you need to know your customer very well. Now, somebody has asked about the neurology segment. I think the neurophysician segment is relatively, still getting some patient, but the neurosurgeon patient, the doctors, the patient footfalls have gone down by up to 80%. So then, you need to really rethink about your launching a product. Whereas the least affected ones, I'll give a 1 minute pause here to my pharma friends to guess which would be the least affected specialty by the COVID-19 crisis. So go ahead to your chat box. Pranav, with your permission, 30 seconds, you flag me off. Let's see what answers come in.
Anup, I think you should repeat it, the question again and again.
Okay. So the question is that all segments of doctors have been, whether they are orthopedicians or, as I said, neurosurgeons, all have been affected by the COVID-19 crisis, and their footfalls of patients have gone down. So can you tell me which is the specialty which was least affected by the COVID-19 crisis in terms of not much reduction in patient footfalls?
So the response coming are very diverse: psychiatry, GP, PED, oncology, pediatrics, cardio, diabeto.
They're all right to various degrees, but as you would imagine, it is the gynecologist, because you can't stop the deliveries from happening. But even in their case, the footfalls have gone down by up to 40%. So you can imagine the other specialties. And this has also been corroborated by the details that show that the number of cesarean sections has gone down dramatically.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying is that, pharma, normally we tend to focus only on, as Salil very nicely likes to say that, it's product. But the way we really need to look at is that what is the service that will help, that create an experience which will lead to my product being used. Because if you look at the list of the services which doctors have requested that pharma should provide for them, and this is from the Ipsos poll which was done, and it has shown quite a lot of insights, is that the number one, as Ashish rightly said, is that making the products available. Please make the product available. Make it available at our hospital. Make it available to us personally. So that's the first request from the doctors, is that, especially I think in the chronic segment area and difficult to handle patients, the vulnerable patients like the kidney failure patients or the transplant patients. And I think there we had a very good report in the newspapers where RPG Life Sciences went all out to make their product available to the patient level. So, there must be this end-to-end connect. We are normally not focusing on the user, right? You're not focusing on the consumer who actually takes our medicines, and we don't understand his pain points. And at this moment, the doctor is more cognizant of the pain points experienced by the patients. So the next one where they wanted help was, they are not able to get the diagnostic tests done for their patients. And the reason is quite obvious, that the laboratories are overwhelmed by COVID-19 testing. They are overwhelmed by the lack of shortage of staff, and the patients don't know where to go in a safe way. So right. Is there a way that in each territory where you're launching, you can provide the service to the doctor, whether it relates to your product or not, to tell the doctor that, doctor, this is the way where you can send your patients for this particular test. It is most easily available. I'm told that in the case of CT scans, it's quite a big challenge, because after every patient, the CT scan is done, the whole, room has to be disinfected, which is taking a mind-boggling amount of time and effort to do that. So yeah. I think it is very essential for us to now really build a relationship with our our patients, as Deep Bhandari shared in his session, we have to move from transactional selling, which is product focused, to becoming trusted advisors, where the doctor feels, trusts the pharma to ask, look, this is the challenge I have. I cannot send my patients for the required diagnostic test, so I don't know where they are. It clearly shows that up to 75% of clinical decisions are based on the accuracy of the diagnostic tests. So this is an important tool for the doctor in treating his patients, and it is not available to him. So pharma has a big role there to play, to see how he can access this diagnostic test. The other one, I was very surprised to know that they said that managing their appointment schedules, and that left me thinking as to why they should face a challenge over here. But look at the situation in a city like Mumbai, where the public transport is shut down, where taxis and autos are not willing to transport patients to hospitals. So the patients take an appointment, and doctors have reported as much as 5 of the 10 patients who took the appointment are not coming back because they are not able to reach the doctor's clinic. So this is really the time for us to understand what our the physician, the patient, and the healthcare workers in general are experiencing. And when you provide those services, I think the doctors are more open to even a new introduction, or even repurposing a drug, or any such brand related communication. So I think that is Dipti's area, where your story has to be something that empathizes with the customer. It's not the question of telling story from your side of the story, how this drug came about and things like that. But
so we come back to a story. Before that, I pick up the two things, Anup, what you said. You said about the customer, know your customer, right? So I will go to Dipti on that part, and I see a comment by Inderpal here. The go-to marketing has already evolved. The only issue is that how to do that. Technology is evolved, right? People know that there is a way to go to the digitally to customers. The question is that how to do that. Traditionally, in pharmaceutical marketing, we used to do market segmentation or customer segmentation. We classify customer not only by specialty, by their practice, a different demography. We used to segment the doctors, customers, patient, right? I'm going to Dipti here to enlighten us on a different way of categorizing the customer, be it doctor or patient. It is called persona. Persona is different than the demography classification or demographic segmentation. It is a rich, it has a human interest. So you should be able to draw a picture, tell a story about the patient, it looks like a real. So I go to Dipti, how persona can be really a good input for pharmaceutical marketing managers at this moment to really leverage the situation in the most effective way.
I'm going to start from the story, right? The beginning of the story. That now what Anupji was saying actually is something what innovation consultants do all the time. They talk about the strategy, not from the profit making, from the company's point of view, but they talk about what to do. I will not even talk about a product launch. Sometimes we are re-innovating a product itself. So we talk it from a consumer's point of view. What really lacks, and that is nothing to do with pharma. I have seen it across the board. I've totally seen it across the board, whether it is a car company, whether it is a furniture company, something which a consumer is using day in and day out. They even do not think from a consumer point of view. They are only thinking from a design point of view, or we are able to manufacture it, so we will sell it. So I see actually something which is also happening here in pharma, that because we are able to manufacture it, we will sell it. Now, when innovation consulting comes in, he says things from the what we say is design thinking or an empathy way. So where he brings in empathy from the consumer's point of view. What is the pain point of the consumer? What does he really want? You see, does he want another drug? If he wants another drug, then what are those pain points in other drugs why he should choose you? Is it the price? Is it the packaging? Is it availability over the counter? Is it even the fluidity? Like, very simple example I'm going to tell you is that there is a drug given to animals for deworming, but it is a tablet. And anybody who owns a pet knows how much struggle it is to give a pet a tablet. Why can't it be something which can be mixed with water or with milk and be given to a pet? Why somebody has not thought that? You see, so we have to also think of how it is to be given. And I can see many pain points coming in because I'm also been from a consumer point of view that from a design thinking point of view, we have to develop the pain points. We have to do the empathy mapping, we call it, how to map the empathies. Based on the empathies, that what are the problems, like this gentleman called, let me just go through, who's talked about new launch, equity nahi hai karke, somebody has talked about that. Yeah, I'm actually saying that you have to slightly step a little back, understand what are the pain points your consumer is facing with respect to the current brands available in the market. And instead of then selling it like a meat brand, more like a district to an aspirin, you say where I can really make a difference. You see, like a Dettol and a Savlon. You see, a Dettol, when you put a Dettol, it hurts. A Savlon doesn't hurt. So what do you do with it? So that is where you have to learn to evolve a product also, if it happens. So first you have to do the empathy mapping, that what are the pain points your consumers are facing with respect to your product. And it can be at any level. Please do not go just technology centric or drug centric. Please also go interface centric. Please also go marketing experiences. Please also go usability experiences. Please go across. Like Anupji used the terminologies which are from your areas. I'm using terminologies from my area. So we try to understand empathy from all the areas. Usability. Technology means the drugs in your case. What is the formation of the drug? Then the after effects. Then how is the doctor going to really learn about it? That will come to later, which is the storytelling part. So first you have to do empathy mapping. Once you have done the problem pain point collection, then you come to the persona part. Because what will be problem for me might not be a problem for Pranavji, might not be a problem for Anupji, might not be a problem for Ashish. And that way we will develop a persona. That a woman who is 50 years old, who's working full time, she will face these 5 problems with respect to my drug. A man who's working full time, 50 years old, he will earning a certain amount, will face these 5 problems. So you start doing persona mapping. And then what you do, like Anup said, you understand the journey of the product with the consumer. As soon, why will I first even go to the counter to buy it? Who will recommend it to me? Will it be a newspaper, a friend, a doctor, an ad? What will make me even search about it? You see, will I just see an ad on something and I will go? Is it, if yours is a trivial drug, if yours is a serious drug, then naturally it is going to be a doctor. So you have to start it from there. The first, what we say, the contact point. From starting from there, you have to really pick your journey, even after he has taken the drug. Then what is going to remind him about taking that drug? Most of the people leave those drugs in between because of the after effects. So why is it, what it is that you should be doing as an owner, brand owner, for the recall value? So that a doctor need not, you see, are aapne dawai to li nahi. It should not be like that. So you have to please map those journeys very, very critically. And the gentleman who's actually launching a product right now where they do not have any equity, actually, if you do this kind of mapping, I'm telling you, you will actually might end up having larger share in next 1 year because you took care of these issues, which nobody is really focusing on right now. People are really trying to focus, let us focus on COVID-19 kind of drugs. But there are all kind of ailments happening. People have no help, especially if you go to smaller cities. People are struggling. because my parents live in smaller cities. I know they're struggling with it. They have to be couriered drugs from major cities which are not available around here. So you have to focus on first empathy mapping. Second is persona. What kind of people will have what kind of pain points? Now, in your case, persona also goes to what kind of doctors personas will recommend and how. Here we will come to storytelling. Right? Now, not every doctor need not be treated like you go with your visual aid or with your iPads and you start off. No, you understand the nature. These 10 doctors will respond to more research papers. These 10 doctors will respond possibly to more visual way of explaining. These 5 doctors are youngsters. We will catch them on social media. Like I am working with a company which is working in the area of sustainability medicines. That they are creating medicines out of all no concepts of Ayurveda, but all sustainability. They are going to various plants and they are trying to find an alternative way of healing. So we are trying to find out what kind of doctors, even in allopathy, will recommend these medicines. There are certain doctors which recommend both. Like when my son was small, I had a doctor and he used to say, okay, fine, give him a tablet, but I would prefer if you could actually just put a wet cloth over him and try to take the fever down before giving him a Nemocid or anything. So there are doctors which are also recommend a parallel alternative therapies. So we are now developing a persona for that. So once you've done your empathy mapping, that is your pain points, so then from your pain points, you generate your personas of the consumer and of the doctors, which are actually your influencers. If you say, if we use our language, they are the influencers. You see, so they are influencing consumer to use that particular brand, not medicine. Drug eventually is the same. So that is what you have to focus on. Once the personas are decided, then on the basis of that, you start your storytelling or communication strategy. What kind of communication has to be focused on what kind of personas? If it is an early adopter, you can go with the research papers, technology, fun. You see, all your engagement models, not only online, but even offline engagement models. If it is a serious persona, what in our language we call the dramas, which we like more data drama, we call them. I have named personas actually for my own convenience whenever I do such consulting. So there's the people who like a lot of data and they like a lot of drama behind it. So this is the research paper from Harvard. This is the research paper from Stanford. This is a research paper from this professor. So there are people like that. Then third kind of people are which are looking at more visual medium. So you can actually create certain, I won't say visual aids, you can create certain films, certain more comic strips, make it more easy to remember. That is what exactly your job is, so that they are easy to remember. More than that, you have to understand, you have to tell the consumer that you are making an effort for the consumer. He will, because of Google, he will anyway find the information anywhere. He will find it. You see, even if you don't tell me about aspirin, I'm going to Google and find about aspirin. But when you come to me and you tell me that you made an extra effort to make me understand through a video film about what an aspirin can do for me, I remember you more. So all this communication, a lot of people tell me, why they will get to know from Google, ye kya problem? I said, no, you are doing a relationship building here by making that extra storytelling effort. You see, when you are focusing on a persona, when you are mapping a persona, when you're understanding the consumer needs, you're understanding the consumer insights, you're trying to understand his pain points, even his communication pain points, he will be able to take in easily and remember easily. Look at the kind of effort you're doing for that person. And don't think that they will not respect it, because I know a lot of doctors, I know my family is full of doctors. So, I know wo wala aaya tha, usne hame video film dikhai thi, us gana sunaya tha. They remember that. They remember that. So you have to then build your story. Now this is offline. Even online, I was working for a cement brand, which is as dull as it can be. Cement is cement. You can't be very interesting about it. But then we created a Facebook page and we started telling stories around cements. Various cements. Cement will make, ये घर JK cement का है, ये घर अंबुजा cement का है, ये घर टूटा नहीं, ये घर उड़ा नहीं, ये घर में जब tsunami आई तो नहीं हुआ, ये घर रह गया. And we started putting up stories like that on their Facebook page. And from 5,000 within 1 year, and also with digital marketing, we could see the engagement went very high. And when I went on for their sales training, then I realized that somewhere these people will actually log on to the Facebook page whenever they went for sales for dealers, and would show people that is where we make a difference with respect to the competition. So you see, you never know. And cement is a very dull product. No cement. One cement is better than another. A cement is a cement. आपके पास तो इतनी variety है. You have qualities, you have user interface, you have research data, you also have beyond what the drug is doing. You have, like Sir was saying, he would know better and deeper that what are the other interfaces. Is the drug easily available? Is the people easily available? What can the 10 points we can talk to consumers so he doesn't drop the drug, so many other things which you can create as a story, slowly over the line, what we say level 1, level 2, level 3, and keep engaging the customer. And not only enter him through, there is something which we do in brand marketing, is something, not only enter him through those proctors and medical softwares of the world, also catch him where he won't get you. Why don't you just talk to him? Suppose he's looking at a product which is like, I remember sometime back I was looking into a product. I was trying to buy a light for myself because I'm making videos and I'm starting my YouTube channel. So I'm making those videos and I wanted to buy a light for myself. And I actually was looking for a dog collar and I saw that light ad for my dog. You see, can we do this kind of parallel marketing that, okay, I have high-end, especially oncologists. I've seen they're very rich doctors. Oncologists are generally rich doctors. They will have a certain lifestyle. So can you map it according to their non-medical needs and start also telling stories in relationship with other needs of theirs, which can be where you will catch them unawares, where they will listen to you more because they're already soft when they're hunting for something else, and there the engagement can happen more. And that can also happen with consumer, depending whether you're direct consumer, you're looking at direct consumer, or you're looking at an influencer, that is a doctor. So I will again map it down because this is a slightly confusing process, and I know most of you are getting
muted.
So first is empathy mapping, first is ethnographic research, then there is empathy mapping, then you collect all the insights, then you do persona building, and then you start looking at your strategy, and then you start looking at storytelling. Once you have done that, then you start looking at with whom you can merge for further, more deeper and unaware engagement. So that is how you go about when you look at the entire strategy. Any confusion, you can always catch me. I'm very happy to respond because I know it is a complex process.
Amar Kamath, I think you got the prescription for that, but I suggest you to take it right.
Pranav,
I will come back in just 1 minute. So what exactly she was talking about, the whole thing, Ashish Nigam has done that. So while she is talking about different industry, in Dr. Reddy's, we were doing customer centricity project. I was leading that project that time. And
I think Ashish ji, Dr. Reddy, mein you have Parmeshwaram, right? Who's also who does innovation, right? Yeah. He's a good friend.
Yeah, Param left some time back. Is not there,
okay.
Right?
Okay.
So when we were doing that, how exactly making persona and segmentation, I wanted to decipher that a little bit more for you. When you segment the doctors, you take what is already known to everybody. But when you develop the persona, you need to immerse into the life of the target customer, the audience, their context, in the social context also. Not asking, even you ask them what you need, they may not be able to tell.
We call it ethnographic research. We do deep end ethnographic and design research to be able to understand latent unmet needs. I consciously did not use these terms because they were very technical terms, but we do deep end. We actually live with them. There are times where I actually gone and lived there in Jaipur for 2-3 days with a client.
Dipti, this is what I'm saying, that Ashish gone to a senior cardiologist, very, very senior cardiologist. He entered into the cath lab. While the cardiologist is doing intervention, he was inside as a unit of the cardiologist himself. I think Ashish will be a better person to say that experience of immersion and how it helps to understand the customer's point of view, the customer's context and customer's need, which is even customer can't say.
So that is what Pranav, I'm so happy that to me it was looking as if it is challenging, the pharma, which is so boring in terms of marketing and other things. But let me tell you, while market research and insights, I know it's a journey for pharma marketing versus FMCG. But right from customer immersion to patient real-time patient immersion to coming to the behavioral and attitudinal segmentation based on real-time research work. So please understand that there are few companies in India, but there are companies who have now evolved their marketing right from typical functional marketing to center of excellence. So there are companies like Dr. Reddy's who have a center of excellence, and then there is a huge amount of process which is involved before deciding of the customer type, the need of the customer, what is the behavioral and attitudinal segmentation of the customer. So it is not just based on potential and practice. Life goes beyond this, as you rightly said. So there are a huge amount of inciting work, and that also gives you perspective about what can be the missing link in terms of service area, in terms of beyond the pill story. So once you do a real time customer mapping, which instead of customer mapping, I'll say consumer mapping. So
Yeah.
once we do a consumer and a doctor mapping, so I think we are doing so. For the paucity of time, I'm not going into since you touched a lot of points about it, but let me give you confidence that I know not all the companies you have to have every research calls for an investment and a conviction more than research, more than a monetary thing. I think it's a conviction that there is a growth which is lying here. So how much work, how much key work you are doing before a launch uh, will actually give you a kind of delta. Many times we feel that delta is only around efficiency, but a lot of times I have seen a huge amount of business case delta lies behind a lot of patient work which you do before launching the brand, and that's a time wherein you have not seen whether it will actually result into it. But through this process, when you target a customer based on his you know uh, practice behavior, based on his out of practice behavior, based on what customer segment he has, which customers to be targeted, even the customer preferences, what the customer prefers. When I say customer, I'm talking about patient. That patient uh, mapping in terms of his economic background, in terms of his other choices, how technology savvy the person is. All those, I think, mapping when we do, and that's what I'm saying, that pharma marketing has really evolved. And I can say that Dr. Reddy's is one of the few companies who does a lot of experimentation. For example, these days we are doing even in digital marketing, we are doing a new experimentation about multi-channel marketing through a PSR.
Mhm.
No, people have been doing multi-channel marketing out of away from a PSR, a medical rep. Whereas the other way, other day I was listening to Professor Vivek when he says you can't replace a medical rep, and that gives me huge confidence. Why not to evolve this medical rep? Why not to build his capability? Why not to equip him with a lot of tools and arms, ammunitions, through which he becomes more active and effective, so that his customer, he becomes a man Friday for his customer. The man, the customer looks forward for this medical rep or informations or other needs or a service need. All of a sudden, government, for example, allowed teleconsultation. Doctor has an now go ahead from the government side to do teleconsultation, but he does not know. He's very skeptical to choose many platforms which are available, because he was saying that I'm not sure about my data privacy. I'm not sure about my payment gateways. I have to give my a share of my money which I'll be earning, and that's a time um, there are companies who have come out with a very customized kind of platforms to do teleconsultation, which is made on the name of the doctors, and doctors do not have to impart anything. On the contrary, there is a huge amount of advantages in terms of patient and doctor connect, confidence at the doctor level that your data is safe, your patient's data is safe, nobody is going to use it. It's an interface between you and your patients. So that's a service which doctor is looking forward. That is what Mr. Anup was saying. That do I need what my customer wants? So same applies to a product launch. So whether it is a service, whether it is a beyond pill story, or what my customer wants, or what my patient wants, all these things I think they fall under the same line.
All right. So we'll come to Anup. Before that, a quick poll from the participants. We wanted to understand that we saw that 34% people responded that they are not launching, they are deferring the launch. What was the reason? We wanted to understand that. So do you have any major concern for a product launch? If yes, please put that in the chat box. If no, that's fine. I think many people have responded that, and it looks like most of the people has concern than no concern. So no concern is, I will just wait for 10 more seconds and then we'll publish that. So those people who responded yes, please do type in the chat box what is your concern. That will be input for me, particularly to take the debate it, discuss it, maybe in following sessions this platform live after lockdown. Those who says no, I have another questions for you. Just hold on. So I'm publishing the poll here. 30% says no, no concern. 69% or 70% says that yeah, there is a concern, and we'll come back to them. What are the concern? But before that, another quick questions on that here only is that, do you see any new opportunity or advantage in launching a new product or brand in this Corona time, other than the COVID-19 products, not those? So do you see any advantage, any significance launching at this time? Is there any silver lining also? If yes, what is that? You have to respond that in yes, as well as at the chat box. By the time people are responding the poll, let me see if chat box has any.
Pranav, that reminds me of a story that two people have been sent to Africa to establish a shoe factory. The one person says that nobody wears the shoe, so there is no market. And every other person says, since nobody wears, there's a huge market. So to me, COVID is an opportunity. To me, COVID, the real marketing gets differentiated from the sales push. And if you're a real marketeer with real marketing brain and has an understanding and a good insight of customer need and the patient needs, you should go ahead and launch and make the difference. Only thing is, you can't be launching the conventional way. You have to have a very, very meaningful way wherein you should invest a lot of time in designing the process, choosing your points where you are going to win. There can be few, but then you should go ahead. And my strong recommendation is, we have done 2 launches already in COVID time, that too in one in oncology and one in rheumatology, and I'm going to do one in cardiology. So very strongly we are going ahead and launching the brand. Surprisingly, when nobody was buying the onco medicine, our first onco digital launch became successful. So it all depends on your planning and your understanding.
All right. So the audience is divided in these questions. Do you see any new opportunity or advantage in launching? I'm happy to see that 43% still believe that yes, there is an advantage. So we come to Anup here. So Anup, you said that, and that's a fact also. The number of patients has reduced on all across the specialty, and the data of sales data also says that the sales itself of top most of the companies has reduced, gone negative growth, right? But marketing should not be stopping here. This is the time where marketing should be more actively working. So the question and challenge is that if the sales is negative, the sales is not growing, what are the metrics marketing should see? What marketing should gauge, monitor that to know whether they are moving in the right direction, whether their communication plan are effective enough or not? Can you help us to understand that?
Yeah. So certainly, I think that would have two parts when you have, when you come to the metrics. When if you are doing only a non-digital or a physical marketing, then the metrics that you have may be limited. But when you go into digital marketing, it offers you much more opportunities, provided your objectives are clear. So your objective of should be is that to raise the awareness of your campaign. Number two, to reach your target audience in the channel that they are using. Number three, engage them with relevant and valuable content. So some of the metrics, that can be used in digital marketing is the social likes that you are able to see, the shares and the following that you get for, the various types of contents, the times of the day when you get it, so that you can keep fine tuning your, your campaign. And the kind of unique visitors that you get. What is the number of unique visitors that you get who visit during a particular time of the day? How much page views you get? What is the search engine traffic? And more importantly, even what is the bounce rate that you get? So, the metrics can be different for different stages of your campaign. If it is a campaign at, as we call in sales, as the top of the funnel, where the objective is to create awareness about the disease or about the unmet needs, then these are the metrics that would be useful to you. So if you are in the stage of the funnel where you are trying to do lead generation, then your objectives have to be different. They would be to drive a targeted traffic to your website from search engines and from social channels, to get that traffic to perform an action on your website. It's like I would connect this to a very good example that Salil Kalyanpur gave in his customer journeys example, where a doctor talks about all the problems of statins, and then it creates a huge confusion for the doctors. So, in that case, when the doctors are wondering, what should we do with statins, because another cardiologist talking about the problems with statins and then, no need for a statin. So in that case, if you have, been watching the social media, listening to the social media, and you're aware of that, and you have created an input, say a simple 1-minute video, which is like a hook for the doctor, and that drives him to further explore your, social media channels, or even come to your website. And probably the best part would be that when he requests a meeting with your medical representative. So, the metrics would vary depending on which phase of, the campaign you are in, and what are the objectives of the campaign. And if you're not satisfied, as always, you can ask the questions yourself. How clear and compelling, are the calls of action to your target audience, and what is their perception about the content that you have put out? Is it relevant to them? And also, as Pranav is here, the user experience, how easy is it for you to navigate whatever digital platforms that you have put in, because he was talking about a Pharma website which starts with information for shareholders. If your website is meant for doctors, then it should be very easy for a doctor to manage. So it's also the user experience that you build it, which will help you to not only measure, look at the metrics, but also create touch points for those, so that you get the right metrics as well.
That's right. That's right. So I think we are about to close that. So before that,
Next
as I will ask Professor Dipti to conclude that. Before that, a quick poll, because there are so many technology and people are using that. We wanted to know which one people are depending most in front of technology. So the question is that if planning to launch or already launch a new brand within 3 months, which among the following digital media are you depending on the most? I'm sure you can't depend only one, but my question is the most, which one? So good. So I see the response now coming up, and oh, interesting response coming up. I was, my guess was a little different, and the response I'm getting is totally different. Interesting. Once this poll is there, then as the time is already over, so I would request quickly to sum all three of you, maybe within 30 seconds to 1 minute maximum. All three, what is your recommendation to marketers who are launching or going to launch the new product in pharmaceutical right now? In 30 seconds to 60 seconds, each one of you. Before that, let me publish the poll here. The poll says that, okay, so webinar is most used, and though I'm happy about that, because 10 years back when I was started using webinar, our internal company people were very reluctant, the leaders were very reluctant to use that. So eventually very few people were using that. Now good number of people are, almost every company is using now webinar. Okay, email is 8%, open social media is 20%, 25% is digital community media like doctors. I think I'm very feeling very good about that, because that's again a good channel got developed, and I'm not able to see the online pharmacy, as well as my personal feelings that email is very effective. I use a lot email, and that's the most effective way. Anyway, you have to use omni-channel. You can't depend only on one channel, and all channel you have to give a unified customer experience. It is not a different content or different experience in one channel and a different in the other channel, including physical or digital. In all the platform, wherever customer is present or going, he should feel seamless, same sort of experience. That's the crux of customer experience, or the use of the digital media. I request Professor Dipti, Ashish, and Anup to conclude with 30 to 60 seconds, please. Over to Dipti, please.
Okay, yeah. I will, looking at the kind of digital marketing that everybody is doing here across social media platforms. And also now that during COVID time, the sales activity would have gone down, especially on the road. I think we can use this particular time to understand our consumers and influencers. Consumer means patients and influencers means doctors, in a very deep end manner, to be able to understand how can we reach them digitally through Instagram, through social media, not just posting about the medicines, but what are the other engagement, lifestyle engagement cues that we can combine it with and be able to engage them further. Secondly, we can also look at more deep end storytelling and not really focusing on drugs per se, but more on the lifestyle issues, more on empathy issues, more on pain point issues, which a doctor, that is the influencer, and the consumer faces on day in and day out. Now is the time to pick up all your old notes when you would have actually visited the doctors and the consumers and noted it down their pain points, and start talking to them either on Instagram or in various social medias or WhatsApp blast or stories or videos or webinars, so that they know that yes, when I told him this problem 3 months back, he remembered it, he noted it down, and now he has free time, he is resolving it for me. So that really, that empathy factor you guys have to will now bring in into your entire communication strategies, because that is now, this is the time to make mark that who really cared for us the most, who is now in touch with us in different ways, in different mediums, in different cues.
So I think, according to me, as I told initially, you must know the need gap. You must know which therapy you are entering into. What is the relevance for the customer and the consumer? What is the process? Have you done a good SWOT analysis of the product or the brand you are going to launch? Have you checked your strategic imperatives very deeply, not superficially? And then, are you using your all the channels very judiciously. When I say channel, I'm talking about e-commerce platforms, channel marketings, and what is your PR strategy in digital marketing? I think when I talk about e-releases, press releases, digital e-press releases, website management, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and those medium uh, medium social group marketing, doctor to doctor, as well open-ended in terms of creating awareness, doctor to patient. So YouTube or my YouTube channels, or can you have your own YouTube channels? And as Dr. Dipti was talking about, and I just wanted to tell her that last year I did an experimentation of making a film out of a serious cardiac brand, and it was a 30-second, 40-second film, that how no 24 hours BP control is so relevant. No science behind it. To my surprise, the GPs and CPs liked it so much, the prescription jumped up after those story related, film related, no science. So I have done that kind of experimentation in marketing, and if you design it well, holistically, I think it works well, and one should go ahead and do the launch of a brand even in COVID times. But with all the work being done, therapy wise and other things. Thank you.
Great. It was very encouraging to listen to Ashish that Pharma is doing a lot of persona development, working with researchers and things like that. My point I would just reiterate is that you should be clear as to why you are launching that product, because traditionally in Indian pharma, new product launch constitutes our biggest chunk of revenues. And obviously, I think if one reason the sales are down is because we have not been able to keep with the pace of the new launch. Right. So the question to answer is for the company is that why am I launching this product? Is it because of my needs, my business needs, or is it because the customer needs? I think once you are able to answer that questions, it will be easier to find the ways how to do and what to do. But it's very important for Pharma to answer this question: why am I launching the product? How is the doctor and the patient going to benefit from this in this particular scenario, keeping all the challenges that I mentioned earlier of the reduced footfalls, of getting even a diagnosis done, getting even the appointments maintained. So that empathy is required. So if you can answer the question, why am I launching the product, I think you'll have a very successful launch by knowing what to do and how to do it. Thank you, Pranav, and thank you, Ashish, and thank you, Dipti, and all the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all the participants.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Let me acknowledge the people who has contributed with their comments, but unfortunately we could not read all the things. Whether it is Amit Kapoor, Inderpal, Bhagyasri, and Ashwini, and Rahul, Yogesh, Devdutt. Devdutt comes every time. I remember his name very well, right? SS Dhal, Ashwini, Bharat, Vikram Singh, of course, Professor Vivek, Sanjay Gupta, Amar, Rupesh, Karunakar Reddy, Nitya, Salil Pandey. So I'm sorry I could not read entire chat box messages here, but I think we tried, all four of us tried to give you something new, something relevant, something substantial. Idea is not to train you, idea is not to educate.
Yeah.
Idea behind here is to inspire you, to sensitize you, to think through. This is also an option for you. This has something more possibilities which you have never done in past. And COVID-19, typically people are doing some of the things we never did in past. I think this is the right time to try something new. And this is our effort. Four of us try to give you some idea about what you can do. It is not all the things which you can do, but something at least. I thank Anup, Professor Dipti, and Ashish to bring everything based on their experience, what they did. Nothing is theoretical here, all based on the experience. All four of us has executed in the market, in pharmaceutical or elsewhere, and we should use that learning in this COVID-19 time. Thank you very much. Thanks to all panelists here.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.